Hi, in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up the MMPro and header builder for Etch. If you're watching this video, I assume that you have purchased the MMPro and header builder for Etch. So that means you would have received an email like this. And when you receive this email, you will go to view content. So if you've bought the subscription, you will see something like this, but it might be different if you bought the LCD. But just look out for email from Gumroad. You may also receive other emails. Specifically, you want an email that has your order ID, order date, and also this button, view content. Alternatively, you can scroll down and generate an invoice if you need to generate an invoice for this purchase. So we're going to click on view content. Now let's assume that you are coming back after some months or some weeks and you can't find the email. Simply go to gumroad.com and sign in with the same email that you used in buying this component. If you don't remember or if you don't have a password, just create an account with Gumroad with that same email and you are going to see your purchase under library. And once you do that, you can click it and open it up. Once that is done, you go down to the latest version and you're going to see two files, the Etch Menu Builder header builder and the DWC Menu CSS. So you're going to download both of them. So I have both of them downloaded. I'm going to head over to my website that I want to install this and I'm going to launch Etch. And once Etch is launched, first of all, I'll go to the style manager and create a style sheet, and I'm going to make sure that I call it DWC Menu. Make sure you call it exactly this. It's very important, and it's also there in the instructions in your Gumroad library. For example, you see import and name the style sheet DWC Menu, and I will just drag that CSS that I've downloaded into here, and it's gonna just come in like that. And I'm gonna save. Alternatively, you could open it somewhere, copy and paste if you don't feel comfortable doing that. And then I'm going to go back to my header template. All right, let me go to the header, the index template. All right, that's the index template. I'm going to take the JSON. Of course, you can't drag and drop. Just open it in the browser, copy it, and come here. Make sure you hit escape to deselect anything and Ctrl V to paste. If you see a warning like this, allow pasting. Sometimes it might take a while to paste. You just have to wait for it and then move it above your main container. Save it, preview on the front end to be sure that everything is working correctly. The MMPro and header builder comes with presets. This preset gives you an idea of the things you can do with it. It does not mean that you are going to work with this preset. So that means you can delete all the presets and start afresh. Now let's go through the presets. I'm going to click on one of these to expand. The drop down. This shows you that you can have multiple drop down. For example, this preset shows you that you can have drop downs and custom items within a drop down. And you can have drop down within a drop down to have what you call a nested drop down. And then this one shows you that there is a menu item that can be a custom item. For example, if you have a menu item and you place something inside the slots of the menu item, now that becomes a custom item. But a menu item that the slot is empty is a regular menu items. Check out the difference. The regular menu item has a place for you to write whatever you want to write here. For example, I want to change that thing to just badge, and I can add a link here. But once you place anything inside the content slot, you lose these two options because it assumes that you want to start building your own custom. All right, let me click that, and then I'm going to place a link inside it. You can see that I have click me, that link, and you can see I have the content click me. And when I select that menu item, I no longer have that space for the name and the URL because it assumes that I'm going to set my URL wherever I want to build my custom item. We also have the mega menu that comes with two starter templates, this and this, and also showcases that you can have a last link as button. This is set by going to the nav and enabling last link is button. You can turn it off by clicking none. But then it also supports up to 3 elements, 3 last items. But let's keep it at 1. For now, I'm going to set it as none. Let's assume that you don't want to use any of this and you want to delete everything and start afresh. You can go ahead and delete every single thing here. Now, the nav item doesn't have anything in its slot. To build from scratch, the Mega Menu Pro and Header Builder comes with 5 distinct components: the DWC header, the DWC nav, DWC dropdown, and the DWC menu items. And let's not forget the DWC mobile toggle. If I hit Ctrl I on my dashboard and type DWC, you're going to see all the list, the 5 components that makes up the Mega Menu Pro listed here. Now I'm going to select the nav slot. This is where all your nav items live. I'm going to hit Ctrl I and just type DWC. And then I want to place a menu item there. I'm going to click to place a menu item. I'm also going to do that again. And then I'm going to insert the drop down. So now I have 2 of them. Now the menu item is a regular link. I can duplicate it like 2 times. And then I'm going to say about. And then I'm going to select this one. I'm going to say contact. All right. I'm going to move this drop down and let the contact be the last. For this, I'm going to say services. And then I'm going to click again. Now for this one, I want to change it to a mega menu. So I'm going to enable mega menu. But then instead of saying services here, I'm just going to say company. The mega menu drop down comes empty by default. And whatever you're going to see in the drop down depends on what options you have chosen. If you have not enabled the mega menu, this is what you'll see. The instructions are here. And if you have enabled mega menu, this is what you're going to see. Let's look at the first one. The regular drop down says that you should place only list items into the slot that is called nested drop down content. And compatible items are the DWC drop down and the DWC menu items. Custom elements that are direct children must have the LI tag. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've clicked here, I'm selecting the service, and I want, this is a nested drop down, it's not a mega menu. So I'm going to go to the nested drop down content, and then I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to add menu items. Ctrl I, I'm going to say DWC menu item. I'm going to do it again, DWC drop down. So I've added 2 of the compatible items in the nested drop down. So if I come here, I see nothing. Of course, I see nothing because I mistakenly added it to the mega menu drop down, the one that I've enabled the mega menu. So nothing is going to show. So I'm going to move those that I've added. I'll move it to where I'm supposed to keep them, which is on this one. This is the services. And you can see that I have my link item that I just added. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this development. And then for this, I'm going to call this SEO. So you can see I have that. And then inside here, inside this, I need to add other things because now this is a nested drop down. For this nested drop down, I'm going to just copy this menu item, come here, paste it multiple times, or paste one and duplicate it. Now I have other items. I can go ahead and change the names. Why is it opening this way? Because there's not enough space here for it to open, so it defaults to opening the other direction. But if we had enough space for it, it's going to open in the right way. So let's preview on the front end one we have so far. So I have service SEO and I have that. Then this, we don't have a content. To add a content to this, you can build from scratch. For example, you can go into the nav item and you select the mega menu. You can click here to select it if you're not sure which one. For example, if I click here, you can see it selects the right one. And then if I place anything in the nested drop down, it's not going to show. But if I place something in the mega menu drop down, let's say I click it and I just insert a div inside it, and inside that div I add a text, I add a heading, maybe I add a button. Actually supposed to be in the div. All right. Now, if I go there, you can see I have what I've added inside there. So you can actually build your mega menu layout inside here. You can actually build it outside and bring it inside for convenience. But I don't want to build from scratch because the Mega Menu Pro comes with 4 starter templates that can serve as a starting point for you to work on your project. So I'm going to go back to Gumroad and I'm going to go to starter template. And in starter template, I can see the different starter templates. Now let's say I want quantum. I'm going to come here and just copy that, and I'm going to go back. Just make sure you click that mega menu content slot and Ctrl V to paste it, and I have that. Now I'm going to duplicate this, and I want to call this careers, and for that I need another mega menu template, so I'm going to delete that, and I'll go back to Gumroad, and I want to scroll to find the one that I want. This is similar to the other one, so I don't want that one. This was the default that came with it. I think I want something like this, and I'm going to copy it, go back there, paste. I'm going to save that, go to the front end and refresh, and I have this and I have that. And you can see that from here I have a good starting point to build my navigation. What if I want to make this contact like a button? I'll go back in here, click the contact, and really I don't have to click on the contact. I'm going to click on the nav, and then I'm going to say last item is button, and then that becomes my last item. Save, refresh, I have that. And what if I want to move these other items to the center? I can say non-button items alignment to center and save. What if I want to create another nested drop down inside here? I can actually go there, and let's say I want to create another nested drop down inside this drop down. All I need to do is to let's say I can actually duplicate this, okay, and then open the nested drop down and just move it inside, maybe as the first item or in the middle, depending on any way I can do that. If I do that, that is going to become another nested drop down within a drop down. So to create nested drop downs, you just place a drop down within a drop down and then add items inside that drop down. And if I want all of them to be the same height, assuming that I don't like the way they are, you can actually come here, go to the very top level, the topmost level, make sure you're on the topmost level, and click on equal height, save, and then refresh, and they're going to be equal height. So you can see that this stretches to fill in. Okay, but what if you don't want equal height? You want it to look like the traditional drop down. All you need to do is to click disable equal height and click parent relative. What that does is that it's going to open each sub below the parent, like the traditional drop down, just like that. So you have a lot of options to choose from. If you go to mobile breakpoints, you can see that everything looks good out of the box. It doesn't need any intervention from you. You can see that the back button works very well. And if you go to the nav element under mobile, you can change the mobile breakpoint from here. You can change the mobile menu width. You can change the sliding direction. Let's say we wanted to slide in from or expand down from header, a nice effect. You can change so many things there for the mobile options. So I'm going to refresh that. What if I want to change the hamburger to something different? I want it to have a different style. Let's go to the breakpoint, mobile breakpoint, so we can see. I'm going to select the toggle, and I want to do something to change it. I want to change the toggle style to peel. I'm going to scroll down to label and enable label. So you can have open and close label. So I'll save that, and I'll go to the front end and have a peel style toggle. You can change the open and the close text. So let's go down there. Open text by default is menu. So I could just say open. Close text is close. I could just say exit. Save. And then let's look at that. What if you wanted to flip this? Let's say you wanted to flip the position. You can come here and click on flip. That is usually useful if you wanted to place your toggle on the left side of your header. For example, you want to also flip the text. But let's take it back to where it was. And then I'm going to undo the flip. What if you wanted the hamburger width to be the same? You could click on equalize to make the width the same. But I'm just going to go ahead and disable the label for now and show you something else. Now, what if you wanted to have a peel type but no text, but you wanted this to be a perfect circle? You can go to aspect ratio and just click 1, and it will give you that perfect circle. And then I can increase the peel to like 20 pixel, and then I have another type of hamburger. So there are a lot of possibilities on what you can do with these. And let's move on to the header builder. The header builder has two powerful features, that is the sticky and the overlay features. If you want to enable sticky, you can just click here and sticky header is going to be enabled. And if we refresh the front end, and you see your header is going to stick. But what if you wanted to have the header hide when we scroll and show when we scroll back? We can turn on scroll down visibility to hide all rows and then show reverse. Okay, and then the scroll up distance, the distance you want to scroll by default is 200, and then we can do that and save. When we scroll, it's going to hide. When we scroll back, it's going to reveal. And what if you want to have an overlay header? You can click overlay header, and then you can set the overlay header background to any background you want. For example, if I want the width of the overlay header to be 1400 pixels, and I want to have a radius of 50 VW, and you can see I'm already seeing the result here, and I can save that and go to the front end, and then I have that. I can set the inset to be 20 pixels, save. So those are the basics of setting up the Mega Mini Pro and header builder for Edge. If you want to know more about the advanced features of the Mega Mini Pro, check out the playlist in your Gumroad library. You will find loads of videos that shows you the advanced features of the Mega Mini Pro and the header builder.